What's up, Internet? It is raining again today, and we are also doing this very late in the day. I think I might have picked up a stomach bug or something. I haven't been feeling very well. But that's not important. We are here to go adventure in the world of Animal Crossing and do something. What? That's a very good question. We won't know until we do it, though, so I guess we better get to it. I think we're going to go see the dump and then maybe go to the next town over as a good start, though. Because at least we can go sell some stuff to Nooks over there. After that, I'm not sure. Nothing new here. No new villagers, of course. There's never any new villagers. We just have to live in the sad realization that our village will only ever contain 6 villagers and myself. Also, my tan is completely gone now. That's kind of sad. Oh well. Time to go to the next town over. Let's see what's going on over there. Alright, Porter summoned me a train from the ether. We need ethereal trains and we need them now. Or else how are we supposed to get on with our day? We just can't. It's impossible. Without ethereal trains, no day in Animal Crossing could ever be complete. Alright. So let's see what we're gonna go do today. Worst case scenario, fishing. Best case scenario, treasure hunting. Medium case scenario, I don't know, we'll figure it out as it happens. That's part of the beauty of Animal Crossing once you've kind of completed everything, though, I guess. It's just you're free to enjoy a nice, relaxing life in this world. And sometimes you need that. You need to take a break from the hectic day and just have a little slice of relaxation. But, of course, no part of relaxation is going to ever involve Rover. Rover is a stress-inducing cat. But then again, what cat isn't? Pets are silly. How long has it been? It has been not even 24 hours. I bet I know all your friends in that town because I happen to know that town very well. I visit basically on a daily basis, Rover. See you later, Rover. Hey, it's not raining here. That means maybe we can find gyroids. That'd be pretty cool. That's an adventure right there. The quest to find the gyroids we don't have yet. I am in on this. Alright, well, let's start by going to Nooks, I guess. That's a good place to start. Certainly as good a place to start as any. I hear crickets. That's beautiful ambience right there. Oh, Mr. Nook. I'm here to once again offload stuff onto you. Like a tumbleweed. And a fresh shirt that probably isn't too fresh because I dug it out of the dump. And this parasol. Well, that is worth basically nothing. Oh well. We still have our gifts from our old pal Mr. Museum. This one. And this one. And I guess we probably shouldn't ignore this one. If we have to. And we do. We don't want to be exclusive to a single fossil. Make him miss his friends. Hey, we got the wings of a pterodon. That's kinda cool. Well, I think they're the same one. Left and left, yeah. Well, maybe he had 2 left wings. Had trouble dancing in the skies or something, and attracting other pterodons. Alright, hey, a regal couch. That's pretty cool. I do like the regal furniture. I'm specifically looking for a bed, but unfortunately, we have the cream couch, which is an even better couch. And there aren't any new shirts there. We can definitely go back and buy some flowers for our garden later, but I think we gotta go on an adventure, see if we can find some gyroids. And of course, pillage the dump. Because it's never a complete day in Animal Crossing until you do that. And we get to do it twice. Alright, Throw that away. And throw this away. And we're just going to make some inventory space. Get rid of those fossils and 1 stack of paper. Hey, I don't think I've ever seen that paper before. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. Stage show paper. Brought to you by Broadway. Oopsie. That's where we want to send it. I like that museum doesn't require us to actually, like, write them a letter, because the ability to read letters in this game is not exactly super good. They just complain if you misplace a space or a comma or something. It's really finicky. Alright. Well, we can try and find some gyroids. It's good to see all our favorite villagers are still where they need to be, and by that I mean Pierce, of course. Try and pick up some weeds. And of course, I think our current big goal is finding gyroids. I think that's a migratory. Crap. I want to catch you, you stupid bug. Yes, it is a migratory locust. That was one of the last bugs we ever needed. Cricket. Oh well. Velma, do you need something to do? Or rather, is there something you don't want to do that you could put to someone else's advantage? I know Chow. He's a little rude, but, you know, I could talk to him for you if you're scared of him. He's kind of intimidating, I get it. He's a big, scary pink panda bear. Let's go find Chow after we get rid of this weed. Because weeds need to be taken care of. It's not a perfect town without them. Gone. It is totally a perfect town without them, but they need to be gone. Alright, well, Chow's around here somewhere. He doesn't have any music. It's kind of sad. Lonely feeling, even though he's got so many gyroids. Oh, he just decided to swim across the river. Typical Chow move. Still don't know what shirt he's wearing. So, I'm here to pick up a thing. You gave it a cookie. Yeah, it sounds like a typical Chow move as well. Alright, let's go see if this alleged cookie still has this alleged handkerchief. I don't know why you'd ever lend out handkerchiefs. Like, I just think that would be kind of unsanitary. But either way, I'm picking up. Velma is extremely mad with you, Velma's extremely mad with you, Velma. No, her name is Cookie, of course. Hey, it's Pierce. Maybe he needs a thing. I was busy. I was busy being very sick. Oh, nothing I can do for Pierce. What else is new? He's very self-sufficient, and that's why he's my favorite villager. Actually, he's my favorite villager because he was like the nicest villager I had when I started. And Pearl, which is funny because she's snooty. You wouldn't really associate that with being very nice. I should deliver this to you, Velma. I managed to get it back. Oh, of course, clothes. I'm betting they're not Gracie clothes either. I think her default outfit is the cool shirt. That's how I got one of them off her. Big dot shirt, that is the default background for your inventory. Not the most interesting shirt ever, but, you know. Hey, maybe someone... Stupid basketball. Go away. No one likes you. Oh, pitfall. Yeah, that sounds like a typical thing Goldie would do as well. Okay, well, no new treasure, so I guess we'll go see if Tangy needs anything and if we can find some spots to dig up treasure. Because treasure is just that darn important. Alright, well, if you remember what you needed, Tangy, I will maybe ask you later. Possibly. Or I'll forget. One of those two things is probably true. What about you, Goldie? Not a single thing. Woof. That's unfortunate. Alright, so we gotta find ourselves some spots to dig up. I don't really want to help Weber. Ever, because Weber is dumb. Go away, Weber, you're dumb. Is there anything around here that looks vaguely like that? Vaguely like what we're looking for. Whoop, there's something. And Camofrog looking at a cricket. A Mega Nebuloid. I don't think that does us any good. But we'll take it home with us anyway. Yeah, kinda actually, because I'm really not feeling well. Hydration. Okay, let's go talk to Spike about an alleged camera. We'll hang out down here and see if we can find Gulliver just in case he's around. Hey, there's a cricket. It was interesting, I was outside a little earlier today, and I couldn't tell, but it sounded like either crickets were chirping or it was like a baby bird, but I genuinely could not tell what it was. It was a really weird sound, because it sounded like it could believably be either I see something that the perspective wouldn't let me see, but it's just a fossil. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's not really what we're in the market for treasure hunting right now. Spike, I need a camera. I was told you had one. Give it to me now. Chow. Fine. I will go bug Chow for another thing. We'll then say, oh, Cookie did it. Honest. I think he's forcing all of this stuff onto Cookie so that she takes the blame. Chow just seems like that kind of a conniver. Tangy. Okay, so it wasn't all Cookie. But see, that's what an evil genius would do. He'd spread out the blame to everyone so that it's not just obviously one person's fault. Damn you, Chow. You are an evil genius of borrowing things and not returning them just to make people sad. You will be stopped, though. Because I will cheer Cube up by getting his camera back. Okay. Let us... Oh, let's check this acre, because we'd never really check this place for really anything, because there's nothing ever here. And there's still nothing ever here. I think that's a bell cricket. I think Katrina's coming tomorrow, but we can check. Ah, B1. I guess we could get our fortune read by Katrina. I'm not going to enjoy this at all. The fortune teller clearly has a thing out for me. Awesome. That's a sneaky place to put a pitfall, to be fair. I don't know who thought pitfalls were a good idea in Animal Crossing, but, you know, at their best, they're entirely purposeless. I was going to say pointless, and I said purpose, but they're pointless. And at worst, you know, they're just completely obnoxious. So why someone felt they needed to be here is beyond me. Camofrog. Pokemon Pikachu from Spike. Alright, I guess I can talk to Spike, sure. But I think first we're going to go to B1. Because that's where an unsettling looking tent is. And maybe that means we'll get a good fortune, that means rare items will be showered upon us, although I doubt it. We can always hope. I saw a digging spot, but I did not see a digging spot. I did, however, see an unsettling looking tent. Looks like an upside down teacup. Alright, let's see. On the stove, a deep-fried, off-duty cop will be drinking milk. You know, I had a suspicion. But that confirms everything. So really, it said that that was basically a purposeless thing because, you know, it's going to be average. That's the thing. Near as I can tell, nothing really happens with your fortune unless you get the really bad one. I mean, the good one allegedly increases your chance to get, like, items you've never gotten before, but near as I can tell, that doesn't actually happen. And then, you know, the bad fortunes are just tripping on your face. And leaving face prints in the snow and stuff when it's snowy. Which I think is a neat touch, but it's obnoxious. I will get the camera from Tangy. Consider it done. Alright, so let's go to Tangy's place. Get us a camera. Alright, that is down here. To the left. Hey, there's Chow. He swam across the river again. He must be a good swimmer, or a really good jumper, because I can't jump over the thing. You could return it yourself. I know you won't, but you should, to be nice. But I mean, do whatever you want, Tangy, I guess. I don't think we've checked this acre terribly thoroughly for spots we can dig up. Like this one, which had a gyroid, a tall lullaboid in fact, although, you know, I'm pretty sure we already have that one. Unfortunately, that's the problem when you get this far in, is you find the ones you really want, and then, like, you can't ever complete the set. And we still never seen a Droploid, but to be fair, that is a one gyroid set. 1,000 bells, that's not bad. Should probably put that in there. Hello, it's tipped. How you doing tonight? There you go, Quetzal, your camera, or whatever I was getting for you. I forget. So many nonsense items. I am pretty amazing. Oh god, more stationery! Ah, it slipped. I apologize. Reading through your periphery is a little tricky. Alright, well, let's get rid of some of these letters. Pelly. Yeah, the new Animal Crossing game's pretty exciting. But I don't know. Even the more recent ones still make me think the original was kind of the best one. Or at least the slightly updated version of the original was the best one. I haven't seen too much about the new one, but I have a Switch, so that at least gives me something to play on it. And now we'll leave, and magically, 4 of the 5 will be gone, but the last one will not have been delivered because reasons I do not understand in this game's logic. Because for whatever reason, that letter will never get delivered. Seems like every game nowadays has crafting in it. It's not a bad thing or anything, but it doesn't come across as all that unique a concept anymore. Still, if it's intuitive. Well, the only reason I managed to get a Switch, because, I mean, this is literally my income right now, which is basically nothing, was because my brother worked for a place that sold them, and he got me like a 25% discount on it and all the games, so I got pretty much everything from a launch Switch for like $300. It was pretty nice. Especially considering I couldn't otherwise afford it. Right now I have to supply my show with, like, dollar games I get from Japan, just because importing's so cheap, because it's, like, the one thing I can't afford. The bright side to that is you get to play a lot of weird stuff no one else has ever heard of, though. Do you need anything yet, Goldie? Oh, you do? Awesome. How many people realistically had a Pokemon Pikachu? I mean, I've only seen like 2, and that's actively searching them on eBay. And yet everyone in Animal Crossing has one. You know, it would have been more realistic in, say, a Sony game to have had them try and advertise the Pocket Station, because at least that was really popular in at least one chunk of the world. But I don't think the Pokemon Pikachu ever really sold well anywhere. Really bizarre. I have played almost all of them. I haven't played the 2 Japanese versions of the GameCube game, but I've played the N64, this is the GameCube one, although they're basically identical other than a translation. I played the crap out of Wild Worlds. I briefly played and then got rid of City Folk, because it felt like basically just a console version of Wild World, and it didn't seem much of a point. New Leaf was really good, though. I got really into that one. But no matter what version of Animal Crossing you get, it's going to be a fun game. But, like, this is the only one that has NES games in it. And probably will from here on out, simply because Nintendo realized they can sell those again for stupid amounts of money. I can return this to Pearl. She lives in my town. But Animal Crossing is just a great game. Regardless of which version. Even the Japanese versions, if you can't read Japanese, are great, just because they're fun to run around in. Someone else has a Pokemon Pikachu. It is just... This place is filled with Pokemon Pikachus. Weird. Here's Cookie. Yeah, it's about when I got New Leaf as well. Lent it to Cube. Alright. Yeah, I'm about the same. I played it from like 2013, 2016 as well. It was like one of 2 3DS games I ever bothered playing, just because pretty much everything I want on the 3DS is Japanese, and it's the one region-locked handheld Nintendo's ever produced for reasons I cannot understand. You lent it to someone. Okay, let's go to the other side of town now. No, you can't, as I understand. I think there is, like, a way to hack the 3DS, last I checked, but it required, like, a specific game and, like, a bunch of specific files attached to it, and apparently, like, every other week Nintendo patches it, so you can't actually do it. I don't know. I mean, I think at some point it will just be cheaper to just get a Japanese 3DS. But, honestly, there's not a lot of reason for me to even want a 3DS. Like, the entire library of the 3DS, I think there's like 5 games I want to play, and 3 of them are in Japanese. It's just... It's a pretty abysmal system, I think, overall. Okay, so that's going to... Camo Frog. Got it. I don't know. I think I'm still just bitter that the 3DS, you know, it couldn't do Game Boy Advance games. And I'm bitter that the DS couldn't do Game Boy Color games, and that's why I still want a GBA-SP. Because I don't think Nintendo's handhelds have been quite as good as the GBA has been. It could play Game Boy Color games, and was region-free. And you didn't have to do anything stupid with it to get it so. And it was every flavor of backwards compatible. It was awesome. What piece of furniture did we get? Yeah. It's true, if you hack into it, you could probably do emulators on your 3DS, but the same can be said about pretty much any console nowadays. And I already have a console that can already up-res my NES stuff to HDMI, so I don't see the need to actually, like, emulate on a handheld. But, you know, I'm sort of the person who likes to have physical stuff. That's just how I've always been about stuff. The whole other thing about that, which kind of ties into my intrigue with pirate gaming, though, is, you know, if you emulate, it's going to be like pirate gaming in the sense that you can have basically any game you want at any time. And to me, that kind of makes it feel really cheap. It takes away from the experience. Whereas, you know, if you actually go out, you pay for something, and you actually physically own a physical copy, it just feels more real, and you're going to commit more time to it. Whereas if I have the ability to play every game at once, I'm going to play every game for about 2 seconds and get no enjoyment out of any of them. At least that's kind of how I've always sort of seen it. I don't know, like, and I can see myself a lot with my pirate gaming series as well. It's just, you know, I plop in a pirate cart and it's like, well, I'll dedicate 5 minutes to every single game here, but, you know, after that it just kind of loses interest to me. It's fun to explore, but it just doesn't feel like it's a way to endear the games to you. Well, I'm basically unemployed, living off $13 a month from my YouTube channel's Patreon, so I can't afford much either. But buying some old equipment when I had the chance, and buying some new stuff that can play old stuff when I had the chance, was definitely a good investment when I did have money, so it's not too bad. But even nowadays, if you can play Game Boy Advance games, you can get multi-carts that have, like, tons of old NES stuff on it. I've got a GBA cart that has Game Gear and Sega Master System games on it. Well, I don't have a job outside of my YouTube channel just because I lost it, and the current job market is really abysmal in this town. And part of that's because of our government. They decided to increase minimum wage by 50%, so now, thinking that was a good idea, basically it made that every job, to maintain their kind of level of profits, they had to cut every single employee. It's alright, you know. You just gotta do the best you can with stuff and hope it works out. And in my case, that's doing my best to provide videos on the internet for people who want to help support and see more of it. Such as it is, I might not be the most successful at it, but, you know, it's doing what I love. And it's showing my passion to people. And that, in and of itself, I think is worth it. My YouTube is the same as my Twitch stream, Solo Wing Fury. Tons of game stuff on there. Actually, I've got to upload something tonight for that as well. And I've got a PS1 review that has to go up in the next day or two. I gotta finish something else. Hopefully I will be able to do a first impressions video later tonight, though, I'm hoping. Or I might get back into Ruby, I'm not sure, though. I've got so much I gotta get done. But means I'm never bored. I really wish we could find this last gyroid, but man, it is not showing up. Hey, thanks for the follow. Seriously, where's this last gyroid? I mean, we found 2 of them. There should be 1 more. So I'm curious, what is our gyroid catalog at right now? Because I know that we can't order them. But I'm genuinely curious what sort of collection we've built thus far. Out of general curiosity. 104. I think there's 125 different gyroids, so we're pretty close. Unfortunately, we are still missing, like, one of all the favorites. We got all the Squeltroids, though. That's pretty cool. Missing one of the Crocoids. Got all the Decoids, though, and those guys are my favorites. I wish I had one of the Oboids and the Haloids, though. I appreciate you subbing to my channel. It's close to getting its ad revenue back, which is nice, until YouTube completely makes another stupid rule change that takes it away. Ugh. I don't know why they keep deciding to make all these dumb, arbitrary rule changes. I mean, there was reason for why they did what they did, but it literally affected no one that should have been affected, and pretty much kneecapped everyone else. Google does dumb stuff a lot, which is probably why I'm not streaming on YouTube streaming service and trying to build a Twitch stream as well. Just so that I can kind of, in case Google completely just tanks, I've got at least something somewhere else. Although Twitch is owned by Google as well, I believe. Still, it's a backup of some description. Yeah, it absolutely does suck for a lot of people. Yeah, that happened to me too. Well, that was a great thing too. It happened like the same time I lost my job and a bunch of other stuff. 2018 was a terrible year, like just for everyone in all respects. The bright side is this year isn't as bad, but it's still a rebuilding, we need to make everything better sort of thing. Yeah, that's basically what I do. I end up posting pretty much every other day, but across the week I end up posting about 7 or 8 videos. Sometimes more if I've got a first impressions or a let's play I'm working on. Seriously, there is no other gyroid here. Are there just 2 today? Because they normally come in groups of 3. Alright, screw it. I'm gonna go bug catching then. Crap. 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 Why are these things so bad at getting caught by me? I'm the worst at catching crickets, it seems. Alright, Quetzal. Ah, I already did all the things for Quetzal. Crap. Oh, and it's after midnight. That means Pearl's in bed, so I can't deliver that thing to her. That'll be tomorrow, I guess. Streaming tonight, I've been streaming for 32 minutes. I normally do it a lot sooner, but I was really sick today, so I did it really late in the day. But I normally stream Animal Crossing for at least about half an hour every night. I also streamed earlier in the day for about an hour or so of a arcades compilation on the Switch, which will be going up on my YouTube channel probably tomorrow, I'm thinking. Gotcha. Hey, there's another cricket. Hooray. But it's not a gyroid. Seriously, I think there's just 2 today. Nope, nothing there. Let's see if Cube needs something. Let's see. That's impressive. I've never owned an NES. I've had a lot of classic systems, but over the years, a lot of them have kind of crapped out. My Super Nintendo broke in like the most bizarre way ever. My Genesis has like a shaky display problem. Same with my 2600. Ah, the mini NES. I have that too. That was a Christmas gift for my brother. I've got the mini Super Nintendo as well. I stood in line for about 40 minutes to get it. In a line with people that stood in line for about 12 hours. I got like the 3rd to last one. Which just goes to show showing up at the last minute sometimes actually works. But not frequently. But I like the mini consoles. I think they're not necessarily the best made, and I think their selections are pretty woeful. Especially considering, like, you know, you can go to eBay and basically for the same price as what they originally cost, you can buy one that has like all the ROMs of every NES game on there, but you know, it's a fun little collectible, and honestly it's one of the coolest presents I've ever received. I quite love my little NES Mini. Although I've never bothered to go out and get the PlayStation Mini, and that one is like still stocked by a lot of places. And I feel like I should, just because I never had an original PlayStation. But the funny thing about that is, like, you know, everyone would want it for Final Fantasy VII. I want it for Jumping Flash. Like, one of the most obscure things on there that no one wants. But I really want to play the Jumping Flash games. That's why I imported the 4th one. And why I now have a Pocket Station, so someday I can play the 3rd one. I don't think just randomly digging behind trees is going to help us find this thing. That's not bad. I'm betting you live in a different chunk of the world than me, though, if you can get an original NES for 50 bucks, because here, you know, once you factor in shipping and import charges and everything, it ends up costing about 120, 130. No guarantees on its quality, but, you know, the NES is... like its cartridges, it's something that you could leave at the bottom of a swamp for about 30 years and it would still play just as well. I love old school hardware like that. Like, it is just an absolute tank. Yeah, I live in Canada myself, so I know our dollar is significantly weaker than the States. The glasses case that you could have just handed to the person next to you. You could have literally just handed next to you because she's right there. Alright. You don't even wear glasses, Goldie. That's not bad, actually. $65. But that might just be calculating the difference in the dollar. You have to also understand that there's import charges as well as shipping fees that tend to go up exorbitantly for Canada. Like, typically, if something sells for, like, free shipping in America, it will typically cost, like, at least $25 to ship to Canada. Alright, I will deliver this thing to someone who I wasn't paying attention to who you want me to deliver that to. Ah, Chow. I know where he is. At least I have a general idea. Still, I mean, I've got the Retro Freak. I can play pretty much any NES or Famicom game I want. I just have to get the cartridges, which isn't terribly expensive for the most part. And I've got multi-carts, so I can pretty much play anything. But, I mean, that's the one bonus to having something like that, is you can apply patches to carts, and you can just order the Japanese ones, which cost pennies on the dollar. I mean, case in point, a couple weeks ago, through, like, some odd jobs, I came into some money, and I found, like, this one import seller I really liked had toned down their shipping fee. So I ended up buying a couple stuff from them, and I ended up getting this one, it was like a special edition fighting game that was apparently selling for $300 to $500, and I ended up getting it for, like, $15. Plus, you know, shipping, but it was in a bundle at that point, so... You know, importing is great, especially when you can just apply translations to stuff. That's kind of how I have to run my YouTube channel at this point, because I'm, again, living off about $13 a month. You know, I end up having to basically just get games for pennies. But the bright side is, you know, you get to see a lot of interesting stuff that you wouldn't otherwise normally do. Like, everyone does Legend of Zelda, but how many people out there play Faria? Not many, because North American copies are stupid expensive, but a Japanese copy costs nothing. Or Armadillo, a game that was never released in North America, suddenly you can play that for a couple pennies. It's really interesting. And outside of a few odd cases, usually imports just cost nothing in general. So it's really fun to get into. And if you know what you're doing, you don't ever have to really get a game that's entirely in Japanese that you can't understand. Or you can get, like, just beat-em-ups that play without having to read anything because there's no text or anything. Fighting games. And Japan gets tons of crazy stuff we've never gotten before, because it would have just been cost prohibitive to send it our way. So not only do you get stuff for cheaper, you usually get a lot more interesting stuff. And that's one of the big bonuses to importing. Although, again, you do run into, like, the rare things that cost a lot of money. But that's the thing about it. It either costs basically nothing or it costs stupid tons of money, and the latter is pretty rare. I will get your organizer from Cube. Why do you lend out your organizer? That is weird to me. Yeah, I try and do a lot of videos on Japanese things just because that's honestly like the majority of my collection at this point. But yeah, there's a lot of really neat stuff in there. The trick is avoiding stuff that you can't play, like your shogi games or your mahjong. Horse racing games, and the problem is, regardless, you're probably gonna start getting a bunch of those if you start importing. Organizer from Chow. Okay, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of weird games. I mean, case in point, if you sub to my channel, you can probably see a bunch of gameplay reviews that I've done of just weird Japanese stuff. You know, and occasionally we'll get something like that, like Katamari, which was fantastic. But then, you know, for every Katamari we get, there's like 1,000,001 other games we just don't, which is honestly a crying shame. But I think the strangeness is part of what makes some of them really cool. Like Lucal, that was a great little Game Boy game that was pretty weird. Although Europe did get that one. And then there was that, what was it, Iron League, which was a platformer about sports playing robots. That was a good one too. And there was, oh, Battle Tycoon. That was a great fighting game that only came out in Japan. That was like half management sim, half RPG, all tied together. Okay, it's going to Spike. That's over here. But yeah, there's tons of crazy, awesome Japanese games. I mean, case in point, the thing I streamed earlier, that's a great compilation of arcade things that you basically don't need to read Japanese for, and it's awesome. And that is the definition of both weird and awesome at the same time. Japan has a lot of really neat ideas that just never get shipped out to North America. And part of me kind of goes back to, like, box art in the 90s. Because, you know, if you look at any Japanese game that was brought to North America, its box art is just made really weird and generically. And it almost glosses over, like, everything that would make a game interesting or special. And it feels like that's the North American tone, you know? If it's going to be weird or it's going to be, you know, interesting, we just can't have it because it won't sell, allegedly. Yeah, you have a good night. I appreciate you subbing to me, and hope you enjoy stuff you see on here and my YouTube channel, because there's a lot of it. And I put my heart and soul into every bit of it. And I'm not sure, I might stream something later as well. I know I've got another thing I'd like to do a first impressions on. I know I'd like to get back into Ruby. There's a couple other things I wouldn't mind trying to stream. I'll figure it out. But I know I gotta finish up a review I've been working on for a few days as well. Got another cricket. It's just baffling how Chow seems to have his hands on like 99% of all like the traded and borrowed items in this game. He really is an evil mastermind. I'm convinced now. He's a supervillain. He's just collecting everyone's stuff to turn everyone on everyone else. It is the only logical explanation. Hey, this guy's rare. The dragonfish. Well, you know, I did say we wouldn't know until we did it. We got that. That's a pretty nice catch. I might keep that in my house. I wonder how much that sells for. Let's find out. Alright, go this way. Oh, there's a train. Hopefully we can get there before it's, takes off without us. But I'm just curious how much the dragonfish sells for. Although I think I'll keep it. Might be a fun thing to keep in our house. We can sell that, we can sell that. Although I could use a lefty desk, I'm ambidextrous. How much does this sell for? 10,000. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm gonna keep that, I do believe. But we will buy ourselves some flowers for our garden. But that's... You know, if I caught another one of those and then got like another 5,000 bells, we could get a second bank deposit, but I think we'll just hold on to our bells until then. The bright side is we're definitely getting closer to the next reward. I think it is at like 5 million. I will buy this. And I will head out. Alright. Come on. Yeah! We made it to the train. And then it starts pulling away. And then we have to wait 24 hours for the next train to show up. I'm definitely glad that Porter has the ability to just summon ethereal trains from the void. Without that, we would be stuck here for a very, very long time, I feel. And that's no good. Alright. And suddenly, we have to deal with the horrible gatekeeper cat of doom, Rover, who ruins everything, like a smelly cat would. Actually, you know, I make fun of cats, but my cat's pretty awesome. He's smart enough to understand hand directions, and every time I get sick, he's actively watching over me. He's a guard cat. I'm pretty sure my cat is actually secretly a ninja disguised as a cat, but my cat is basically the best cat ever, even though he is a smelly cat. Actually, he's one of 2 cats that hasn't, like, actively attacked me on sight. Cats don't typically like me too much. My aunt had a really mean cat, and we think she might have had, like, schizophrenia or something. Like some mental illness that just made her overly, like, anxious around everyone or something. But I remember one day, I was just sitting in the middle of this room, and the cat, like, comes in from behind me, walks up in front of me, and then just hisses and starts clawing at me. It's like, I'm not doing anything to you, cat. I didn't encroach on you. You came up to me. What is your problem? And you know, that's just kind of how cats are with me. She was a weird case, but for the most part, cats are just really aggressive towards me. They don't like me too much. Which is why, for the most part, I think I prefer dogs, but my cat is, like, the best cat ever. But that's also because he's a ninja guard cat. I'm betting he learned his skills from Shinobi himself. Oh man, I gotta play some Shinobi sometime. But I can't record Genesis footage because for some reason it keeps displaying all weird. I wish I could figure out what that was about. Like, part of me thinks it's like an interlacing issue, but I'm not all that much of an AV expert. I've got 1 or 2 people I know who kind of are, and I've shown them what happens, and even they can't figure it out. It's absolutely strange. But since it's after midnight right now, I guess I don't have to stream Animal Crossing tomorrow, but that means I can do my other thing tomorrow. That's pretty cool, if I need, because I did stream across both days. But because we're doing this so late, we might run into someone that I think we should run into. But he only shows up late at night. He's a very mysterious guy. But let's see if we find him. Hey, there's Pearl. I can actually deliver this. I thought she would have gone to bed. I have to deliver this to you because you left, like, your entire house behind in another town for some reason. Because every time I go, they keep asking me to deliver stuff to you. I'll take wallpaper, sure. Are we gonna do this whole finding this special guy thing tonight? Like, that's the thing. Even if you fulfill the requirements of getting this person to show up, he, like, rarely ever shows. He's a weird NPC. But you know, we've been playing this for almost a year and we still haven't run into him. And that annoys me. I feel like we should run into him at some point. But, I mean, there's only so many different things we can do to potentially allow him to show up. Alright. I'm gonna leave that weed there for important purposes. That one too. Just because I think that's gonna help influence and see if our friend shows up. Although, they probably won't at all, which is kind of frustrating. Fortune teller. The fortune teller comes to town yet again. Much though we really don't want her to. Typical. Aw, come on. I want to see this special NPC we still haven't run into. I mean, seriously, we've been playing for almost a year and we still haven't run into them. It's kind of interesting. I mean, on the bright side, I guess that's a sign we've been doing really well, because he only shows up with certain parameters are met that we haven't fallen into, but... Oh, hey! We found him. They need help. Not that way. This way? This way. Spooky! It's a boo! This is Wisp. He only shows up from midnight to 4 a.m. and only if you have 8 or more weeds in town. Okay, so we have to collect 5 spirits in the next 3 hours and a half. I don't think that's a problem. I don't plan on playing that long, though. The giant lens. He's Mr. Spooky Ghost. Yeah, he's kind of just strange that he's here. Also, he walks around even though he doesn't have legs because I guess they couldn't animate him to be differently. So now we're on the hunt for spirits. They basically are like bugs. You just have to get your bug net, which catches spirits, I guess. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Now we can get rid of these. Because he also only shows up if you have 8 or more weeds in the village at any time. It's actually kind of embarrassing that he did show up, but it's good for us in the sense that I really wanted to show this guy off at some point this year. And here he is. Now we just gotta find all 5 spirits for Mr. Spooky Ghost guy. And then we get a reward. I think in later games he gets depicted as like a magical genie for reasons I don't quite understand. But right now he's just Wisp the Ghost. He's a wispy ghost. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about the new Animal Crossing. I hope I can afford it when it comes out. That would be kind of nice. But, you know, I still think that this is probably the best Animal Crossing so far. There we go. Got 1. Now, we just gotta get the other 4. Problem is, it's not really signposted where they are. You just kind of keep your eyes out. I don't think they move around, though, so there is that. I think I heard that they're more likely to spawn near water, but I'm not sure if that's true. That might have been a myth. What do we got for mail? HRA? Oh, home. It's September. That makes me sad, because that means winter's coming. And I don't like winter too much, mainly because that's what it's like pretty much all year here. Winter is cold and sad and miserable. And I like the warm. Get rid of this. Alright. So we checked all up there, and we didn't find another spirit. So that means that they have to be down here, logically. Again, I don't think they move, so they shouldn't just randomly spawn in places. Pretty sure they spawn in relatively fixed locations. Or at least they don't despawn and move somewhere else. Here's a fish. But we don't need a fish. We need more spooky ghosties. Because Animal Crossing suddenly became Project Zero because reasons. There's one. Okay, so it's very clear Spike acknowledges that that ghost was there. I don't think he's going to mention it. I was catching ghosts. I'm helping someone so they don't get destroyed by the giant lens. At least that's what I've been told. No, I don't have anything awesome. Hey, a bug zapper. I don't need one of those, but I'll take it. Because I don't think that's in our collection just yet. 3 more spooky spirits to find. And then we get some sort of awesome reward, which is typically just to pick all the weeds in our town, paint our house, or give us an item that we don't have in our catalog, which is actually really cool. I quite like that feature. The problem is there's a lot of stipulations around items that he won't give you. I'm pretty sure you can get, like, items from special events, like Halloween and whatever. Here's the third one. I like that they glow. I don't know what that was, but something just went bang. But, yeah, he won't give you stuff like the dummy or anything that's not easily actively recordable in the catalog. I don't think he can give you Legend of Zelda or anything like that. Which is unfortunate, because, I mean, there is no other way to get it short of cheating. But, you know, if he was able to, like, through an in-game loophole, let you get it, that would have been kind of cool. But, alas. Hey, glowy spot. And a spirit. Hey, and they stack. I think that and paper are like the only items in the game that actually stack. It's kind of frustrating that they don't, given how little inventory space you've got, but still. Alright. One more to go. Just gonna pluck all the weeds because we don't need these kicking around anymore. They make our town less perfect. And our town must remain perfect. I didn't spend so long making it perfect, not for it to remain perfect, that's for sure. Maybe we'll get a gyroid for helping him. That would be kind of cool, considering that we still need one, or 2, or about 21, I believe. We definitely need the Echoid. Or the Echoid, the Droploid. They look very similar from what I remember, though. Where is the glowy spirit, guys? Should be around here. Now, the thing is, if you don't collect them all by 4 a.m. or you, like, go to bed or whatever, they just disappear from your inventory. So, you can't carry them over from one event to the next or anything to shortcut this. Which is fair, I guess. That. Okay, so we've definitely covered the entire city at this point, which could mean it's behind a tree, which is certainly not ideal, or it's in like some chunk of the work we're just not seeing actively. We'll keep scouring. I don't think he'll tell us or give us any hints. Okay, I will look all over the village and try and find the last one. I'm not sure they spawn on the same acre as Wisp either. I kind of remember the first time I ran into him that they did, but I don't think that's actually the case. I'm very likely misremembering that. I need more water. But there's got to be another spirit around here. Maybe if we walk a little slower, we can see some movement or something. Because I know if we just run around really fast, we're going to miss some stuff. I think it was behind that tree, I think that's safe to say, though. Nothing down here. I mean, if nothing else, we get to listen to the really nice rain music, which is always a plus. Because Animal Crossing rain music is always super, super relaxing and nice. There it is. Oh no, I hurt my flowers. That's the last one. Alright. Now, first things first, I'm going to put the dragonfish in our house. I don't know where yet. Like most things in the main floor, they're just going to take up space for a little while. I don't think we can drop these in the house. Yeah, no, you can't drop them. Which is kind of a shame. If you could actually have them, like, just floating around as your house as collectibles, that would be pretty cool. No new loot to be found through treasure hunting means. But we get to go talk to our old pal, who has now disappeared. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Has he disappeared from this acre? Where are you, Wisp? I got all the things for you. There you are. Silly ghosty. He's too spooky for his own good. I handed him very clearly a stag beetle there, but okay. Yes, they are. And I think with this we've seen all of the rare villager characters. You know, we've seen all the interesting events that introduce new characters anyway. Well, we don't need him to pull weeds, because our town is basically perfect. We don't need him to paint our roof, because our roof is basically the only color I want my roof to be. Give me stuff. Well, it's to the point. Let's do that. Blue pinstripe. Oh, we got a shirt. That's lame. It's always something you don't already own. Rest in peace. Oh, well, let's see if this shirt's any good looking. I mean, we're already rocking a cool shirt. I didn't have this shirt? Huh. Well, it's not a cool shirt. You know, it'd been nice if he got us the Gracie shirt, because that's the one I really want. But still, you know, something we didn't have. Plus, we got to experience the mysterious, overly spooky ghost character. Because we needed to turn Animal Crossing into a horror game for a night. Anyway, I think that will be it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, follow the stream to know when we go live, because we do this every single night. Usually a little earlier, but I'm not usually as sick as I was today. You might also want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel to see everything else I do, which is a lot of stuff centered around a lot of different games, not just Animal Crossing. Seriously, I'm sure no matter what your taste, there is something there for you pretty much without question. I've got so many different games on there. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's Patreon or PayPal. Help support the show any way you can so that I can continue to do what I do to the best of my abilities, which in this case is helping prove that Chao is in fact a criminal mastermind, and also helping the spirits of the afterlife so that they don't get destroyed by some sort of evil giant lens creature. Plus, you'll get yourself on the Discord where we can talk about all the various Animal Crossing conspiracy theories, like apparently there's ghosts in Animal Crossing, woo, and other stuff. Also, we're gonna have a vote pretty soon about pirate multi-carts, because I gotta pick my next one for my next segment. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Peace out, Internet.